Oh, hey, and mine's already in a loop. So come to your comfortable seat and then take a moment to move sitting bones. And then give a rooting down press with your hands into your upper thighs, a little bit of movement here into your hips. And then come to some stillness. And let your sides lift, shoulders move up and back. And as you let your eyes close, take a couple big breaths, letting yourself settle in and tune in to being present in this moment. As you take your next couple of breaths, very purposely move through your body with your mind's eye and notice the details. Bringing awareness to wherever the sensation is residing in your body. Without any kind of judgment, just noticing what's there and sending your breath into those places. So try to very purposely move your breath there. If you just popped on, be sure to mute yourself. And then with your next couple of breaths, start to add that detail to the breath of extending the exhale out a little further. And then inhaling to that natural place. And as you exhale and extend this time, pressing your breath out just a little more, pause at the bottom of your exhale. And as you inhale to that natural and comfortable place, pause at the top. And just take a couple more breaths this way. Long extended exhale with a pause. Natural and comfortable inhale with a pause. And then releasing this breath, the work that you're doing, and come back to a natural inhale and exhale. Connect hands together at heart center and gently press palms together. Lift shoulders up and back. Take a full inhale here. And exhale, bow toward your heart. And softly opening your eyes, release your hands down and walk your hands out to your knees and move a few times in a roll back with your shoulders. And then forward. And then shoulders lift up and back. Take a gentle twist over to the left side, drawing right shoulder forward, left shoulder back. Inhale, lengthen through your sides. And exhale, let the twist happen from your ribs. Inhale back into center. And exhale, take that twist to the right side. Left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. Full big breath, lengthening. Use your exhale to help you engage the low ribs a tiny bit. Inhale, come back into center. Exhale, press back through your spine into a cat-like pose, chin tucks in. Take a full couple of breaths here. Then inhale, sit tall, expand and open through the chest. And switch the cross of your legs, coming to the less comfortable cross for yourself. Move your sitting bones. And now with hands walking out to your knees again, we'll move with our breath in our twist. So exhale, twisting to the left. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, twisting to the right. And as you move a couple more times to each side with your breath, just get a sense for any parts of this movement that might feel a little stuck or stiff. And then as you come back into center now, a couple rounds of cat and cow, moving forward and back through your pelvis, moving forward and back through the heart space. Inhale, belly and heart forward. Exhale, press your spine back. One more breath this way. And then come back to a neutral place for your spine. And take your right hand to your right hip. Left arm reaches up and over. Side stretching here. Take a couple big breaths. And as you root down into your hip, you can even press into the upper thigh here if that feels the best. Just notice that rooting action as you lift up and out of your hips with your torso. Take a full big breath. Inhale, come back up to center. And left hand at your hip, right arm reaches up and over. And again, you can always have your hand right up at your upper thigh to press down, or it can be at the hip itself. Take a couple big breaths, and as you root down, lift up and out of your hips. Full inhale and exhale in and out of your nose. Inhale, come back into center. And one more time, move through just 2 cat-cows. Inhale, belly and heart forward. Exhale, press back through your spine. Full deep breath. Then inhale, sit tall, and we'll shift forward onto hands and knees. And from hands and knees, you're shifting hips back towards your heels right away into a child's pose. If it's comfortable, you're turning your palms up here to let a little bit more natural expansion happen through the upper back, through the shoulders. And as you let your head rest down, you're welcome to add a little bit of movement here through your hips and your sides, just to find a little more space, but then give yourself permission to come to some stillness. And now inhale, rise to your hands and knees. And from your hands and knees, set yourself up. And you can always use a blanket underneath your knees here if you'd like to. But as you root down to palms and fingertips, make sure that wrists are under shoulders and knees are under hips. And then we're going to pedal out. So reach back with your right toes tucked under on the ground and give a push. So you're stretching a little through the calf muscle. And then release the right knee back down and stretch back with the left leg, and then push through the heel just a little bit to get that extra length. And then left knee to the ground, and you're gonna go a couple more times to each side, adding that little extra reach through the heel. Just for that extra moment. And then as you finish up with the last side, settle back to hands and knees, root down with palms and fingertips. And you can give that external arm bone rotation for your upper arm bones here and push to expand into the upper back. And then let's get a little bit more into the quad, into the thigh. So inhale, reach back with your right leg this time, lifting up with your leg if that's comfortable. Turn open with your hip and press your heel toward the left side. Take a full big breath here and think of reaching longer through the thigh, but also toning the belly to support the low back. And then release down with your right knee. Inhale, lift up with your left leg. Turn open with your hip. Bend your knee and press your heel toward the right side. And again, think of lengthening a little further through the thigh and toning the belly for some support to the low back. And then release the left knee down. And this time we'll get a little more stretch into the hip and SI joint. So right leg, your right knee steps over your left, crossing your knees, crossing the legs. And then work your hips back toward your heels, coming into this cross-legged version of your child's pose. And then if you want to, you can walk your hands forward and even over to the right side. And take a couple big breaths. And think of energetically reaching back through your left hip. And then walk your hands back into center, rise back up to hands and knees, and we'll reset wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And then cross left leg behind the right and work your hips back towards your heels, settling as far back into this cross-legged version of child's pose as it feels good. You might have that top knee lifted a little, or it might stay on the ground if you want to stay a little higher. Walk hands forward and then maybe even out to the left. And then energetically reach your right hip back. And now back into center with your hands and shift back to hands and knees. And set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, and move through just 2 rounds of cat and cow. Inhale, belly toward the ground. Exhale, rounding upward through your spine. And then a neutral place for your spine, and we'll move side to side here, reaching shoulder to hip, hip to shoulder. So inhales bring you back into center, and exhale, think of a little side crunch, right hip to right shoulder. Inhale to center, exhale, left hip to left shoulder. So a couple more times on each side. And then as you come back into center, round upward into your cat pose, let your chin tuck in, and then add a little swaying here, side to side with hips and shoulders. Inhale, belly toward the ground, expand and open into your cow pose. And keeping it gentle here if you have any tension through the low back. But then add that little bit of movement side to side through hips and shoulders again. And now, as you settle back with your hips to your heels, this time let's grab props and set blocks underneath your hands, reaching arms as far forward as is comfortable. Your fingers wrap around your props. And then settle your head down, settle through your shoulders, through your chest here, as deeply as your body is ready for. And if having hands up on props is a little bit much, you can always find a lower side of the props, or even come down onto a folded blanket instead. You have about 3 more big breaths right here. And now inhaling to rise up to your hands and knees, and then we're going to come all the way down to our seat. So go ahead and let your legs come to the side, come down onto your sitting bones. And then bring soles of feet together in front of you into a butterfly. And then blanket rolled up over your feet. And wrap the edges underneath your legs, letting your legs rest open. But if you need a little extra support here, feel free to add blocks underneath the knees or thighs. And then whatever variation here you need, maybe take a prop out in front of you to set your hands on. Maybe stay upright and lifted through the chest. But start to come to that place in your butterfly pose that feels good in your body. Even let your eyes close here if that's comfortable. Take a few breaths, just letting yourself tune into whatever's there for you. If you have a little bit of shifting and movement that needs to happen, feel free to do that. But then give yourself permission to find some stillness, to let go of the movement. With your next couple of breaths, find a little more length and space through the torso, and then maybe settle a tiny bit deeper, or maybe come out of it a little ways, but adjust it to where you can be still for another couple moments. And inhale, rise all the way back up. And we're going to extend legs all the way out. You can switch the blanket from being underneath or over your feet to setting it underneath your thighs. And let your legs rest down over your blanket. And if it would feel better to have a bolster underneath your legs, then you can switch it to that if a little higher lift would be helpful. But now take your legs wide or narrow or anywhere in between here. And then if you want, you can use your strap. We're going to use it later for something else. But if you want to, you can take your strap around the balls of your feet. And now as you inhale and lift up tall, find that length and keep it. And then exhale, you're going to take a gentle fold over your legs. If it's in your practice, you can always add your elbows resting against your thighs. If that's a bit much on the hamstrings, then stay up a little ways. Okay, so find where that is for you, but ultimately think of this as not the deepest place you've ever gone in your pose. The strap around the feet helps you to keep your feet a little flexed with a little bit less work. This keeps a little more length through the calves, the backs of the legs. Couple more big breaths right here As you focus on where that sensation is, take the action you need to take to either come out of it or go deeper, but ultimately come to the place where your nervous system and your breath can calm. Two more full breaths right here. Then inhale, rise all the way back up, and you can set your strap aside. And now we're going to take our cowhead pose, and you can choose a half variation if you would like to. So either cross right leg underneath your left and then left leg over the top, so you're crossing at the knee or working towards stacking the knee, or the bottom leg, the right leg can be all the way out straight. And if it's out straight, then you might keep a blanket underneath your legs so you're not hyperextending the knee, okay? So find where that is for you. Give your feet a little bit of engagement, regardless of which variation of this pose you're taking. Engaging the feet keeps the ankle and the knee safe. So now shift a little side to side and move sitting bones back and broad. And then as you inhale and sit tall, just notice for yourself if this right here is where you need to stay, or if that forward fold over your legs would feel good. Big, full, deep breath. You can always have something underneath your elbows or hands in front of you here. And now gently inhale and rise all the way back up. And we'll switch the cross of our legs. So gently uncrossing. Take left leg underneath or left leg straight out in front of you, whichever feels the best. And then right leg over the top. And it doesn't have to be a perfect stacking of the knee, right? So if it's a little bit off, the whole point is that cross, which tends to get a little bit more into the glute and SI joint area. So now, again, if you'd like, you can have props in front of you. Move your sitting bones. Got to do that every time. And then lift up through your sides. And then as you work toward either sitting tall or taking a fold, you can decide what this side looks like for you. We're never symmetrical. And I find that the hips are one of the places where I'm reminded of that. When I start to stretch out one side and then the other side, really get to notice the difference. Not to judge it, but instead to take in the details. We all have our own personal puzzle to work with. As you keep your feet a little bit engaged here, Just also notice where it is that with your breath you can calm the area around something tense. And now inhale, gently rise back up. You can set props aside if you're using them and set footprints on the ground. And then for a moment, staff pose. Just lengthen your legs out in front of you. And again, they can be wide or narrow. Fingertips behind you or beside you, and lift up through your front. Just give a little flex to your feet so toes are drawing back towards your knees. Take a big deep breath. Shoulders are up and back. And now find your strap, and you can set something underneath your legs here if your legs out straight is tense, because come on, hamstrings are tough. So if you want to put a blanket underneath your legs, but you're going to take your strap around just your left foot and hold on to your strap with your right hand. And then your left fingertips come behind or beside you. Press down with your fingertips and lengthen through your sides. And now as you exhale, draw your ribs in to help you twist a little bit more with your torso. Both feet are flexed. Take a big, full, deep breath. As you take this twist, if it's in your practice, you're welcome to work your hand down your strap towards your foot and take a little bit of a twist in the fold. Full, big, deep breath. If you find that you easily reach your foot, then maybe you let go of the strap and hold your foot instead. Take another full, big, deep breath right here. And then inhale, rise all the way back up, and just for a moment, feel, notice throughout your body, whatever's going on. And then take the strap around your right foot and hold on to it with your left hand. And then fingertips behind you or beside you to help you sit tall here. Flex both feet. And as you take your exhale, ribs draw in to help you twist. Full deep inhale and exhale. Long through your spine, if you'd like to start to take that twisted fold, you can start to fold and maybe shift your hand down the strap, or maybe even reach out for your foot instead. But take a full, long, deep inhale and exhale. And then gently inhale and rise all the way back up. And one more time, just take a moment to notice what's there for you in your body. And now bending your knees, move onto your back here, making sure you can reach all of your props. And as you come onto your back, knees are bent, footprints are on the floor. And just for a moment, let your knees drop in together to touch. You can take hands to your hips or to your belly or to your heart or any combination there, but take a moment for a full breath, recognizing for yourself any of the sensations and where they are. And now you're walking your feet back into hip distance and cross right ankle over your left knee, flex your foot and draw your legs in toward your body. And you can hold on to your right leg here if you want to, or hold on around the back side of your left thigh. But wherever that is for you, have the intention of tilting your pelvis so your sitting bones are moving down. And now if you want to, you can extend your left leg long and straight, reaching through the heel to lengthen the back side of your left leg. And now if your left leg is extended, go ahead and bend your knee. You're going to keep a hold of your right leg, your knee and your foot, and then set your left foot on the ground. So you're disconnecting your ankle and your knee. Keeping your right leg where it is, if you want to, you can extend your left leg all the way out, long and straight against the ground here. If that's a little bit much, then feel free to bend your knee again. Take a full, big, deep breath. And then bending your left knee, connecting knee and ankle one more time to set left foot on the ground and right foot on the ground. And then cross left ankle over your right knee, flex your foot, and draw your legs in toward your body as close as is right for you, and hold on where it feels the best. And again, remember that intention of tilting your sitting bones down to create a little bit more lumbar curve. And now if you want to, you can extend right leg up long and straight here, reaching through the heel, a flex there to help you stretch a little bit more through the back side of the leg. Always an option. Take a full, big, deep breath. And now bend your knee and you're going to start to disconnect your knee and your ankle, setting your right foot on the ground. And then if you want to, if it feels good, you can extend your leg all the way out long and straight. And remember, if that's too much, you can always bend your knee again. And now bending your right knee. Connect ankle and knee. And then it's your right foot coming back to the ground. And then your left foot comes back to the ground. And now locate your strap. And draw your right knee in towards your chest. Lasso the ball of your right foot and start to extend it. Long and straight without locking the knee joint. And as you find that for yourself, you're welcome to keep the left knee bent or extend it, either one. Both feet are active. Hold on to the strap with your left hand and use your right thumb at that upper thigh to push your thigh bone away, creating that little bit of movement through the right leg. Your toes will turn a little to the right. From your left foot, give it a flex and then draw in from heel to thigh to hip socket rather. Evening out the hips a little bit. Take another full, big, deep breath. And now keeping both hips evenly on the ground, take your leg just a tiny bit across your body to the left side. Again, foot flexed here, giving the outside edge of your leg a little bit more length and stretch. And now back into center, bend your knee and give it a squeeze. Taking your strap off of your foot. And then set your footprint on the ground and then draw your left knee in. Lasso the ball of your left foot and extend your left leg up long and straight. Keeping that little bit of micro bend if you are a hyperextender. And from here, you can test it out and see whether it feels good to extend your right leg or if it's best to keep it bent. Hold on to the strap with your right hand and take your left thumb into your hip crease and give your hip crease a push. Push onto that upper thigh bone, creating that extra length. Maybe even creating a little turn through the entire leg. Flex the right foot and from heel to hip socket, draw in. And then just slightly take your leg across your body to the left side, or to the right side rather. Again, both hips stay planted on the ground. Give your foot a flex. And then just notice that stretch, that length on the outside edge of your leg, maybe into different parts of your hamstrings. And now back into center, give your knee a bend and hug your knee in. Then both feet come to the floor, drop knees in together to touch. And then let's take cactus with our arms. Elbows bend to 90 degrees. Take a moment here with an open heart space. to fill your breath into the front and the back of you. Think of letting that space in between your shoulder blades expand. And now take right ear over to your right shoulder, and you can hold on to your head with your right hand here if you'd like to, or you can just stay in that cactus place with both arms. Take a big breath into the side of your neck and into that space around the left shoulder blade. Notice even that gentle opening through the front part of your chest. And inhale back into center cactus with both arms, full breath. And then left ear to left shoulder. And again, you can hold on to the side of your head here if you'd like to, or you don't have to. Just take a moment to notice the length of your neck. Again, that space around the right shoulder blade. And that gentle opening through the front part of the chest. And now gently coming back into center, we're going to make our way over to the wall and work toward some legs up the wall for a little bit. And you have your choice. You can bring your strap with you. You can bring your bolster with you if you want to, but go ahead and roll over to your side and push yourself up to your seat. And then scoot yourself over to a wall. And if you don't have a wall close by, that's okay. You can use something to put your legs up onto, like a chair or a couch. Or you can do this just legs up the air. And if that's the case, make sure to grab your strap to put around your feet. So shift your hips close to whatever you're using. And then you're gonna rotate your legs up, back to the ground, and then inch, little rock and roll to get your hips as close as is comfortable to the wall. And now from this place, because this is intended to be something that lets our lymph nodes get a good rinsing, from this place, if you want to lift your hips up onto something, bend your knees, put your feet on the wall or on the edge of your couch or chair, and then as you push in, lift your hips, slip your prop underneath your hips. And I find that it's nice to be able to have my sitting bones almost moving down the other side of it if you're using a bolster. But really you adjust it to where you're comfortable. And then the other part of it here is bend your knees, take your strap around the balls of your feet. And then you can hold on to your strap, but let your elbows come toward the ground to relax a little bit. So there's that little bit of additional support there for you if you would like. And then if you have anything like a stack of books, or some of you might have one of those weighted sandbags, you're welcome to put that over your feet. Sometimes that's a really nice way just to feel really rooted through the femur bones into the hip sockets. We're going to be here for a couple of minutes. So if you find there's a part of it that's not comfortable, feel free to adjust. And that might mean even bending your knees and keeping your feet against the wall. Sometimes that feels a little bit more grounding for people. Take a full couple of breaths as you find what this feels like for you, what it looks like for you today. And recognize that there's no right or wrong answer, but just the opportunity for you to tune in to how your body feels. If your legs are up the wall and you want to check out some different positions, feel free to take legs wide. Sometimes that gives the hamstrings a little more length. Or feel free to take soles of feet together into a butterfly, or even a cross-legged position sometimes feels good. Ultimately, anytime you have parts of your body lifted above your heart, your lymph nodes get some rinsing. So a change of positions for your legs. Feel free to take what you need to feel comfortable. And give yourself permission to come to that still place. And now, if your legs are up the wall, you're bending your knees. If your legs are up something else, then you're just bending knees and putting feet on the edge of whatever it is. And then gently roll yourself to one side and push yourself up. To adjust yourself back to a spot on your mat for Shavasana. And for Shavasana, I'm going to show you an option. If you would like to, you can set up a proper two behind your bolster if it's blocks, that it's one short and one long, or one tall rather. And then bolster over your blocks. You can use a blanket over your feet in butterfly if you want to. And then rest in this reclined place over the bolster. Or you can come to whatever variation of Shavasana would feel good. So take the time to set yourself up into something that is the most helpful, or what speaks to you right now as something that would just feel really nice. And show yourself that care. And as you find your way into your Shavasana, again, remember that you're never stuck in one place. You're always invited to shift and move to something that's more comfortable. But have the intention of shifting and moving for those first few breaths. And then letting yourself come to stillness. Begin to take a deeper breath. Add some gentle movement into fingers and into toes. And then as you're ready to bend your knees and start to make your way over to your side. And then slowly, gently push yourself back up to your seat, using as little energy as you can. As you draw your hands together at heart center, find a long spine. And with your eyes closed, tune back into your breath, tuning back into the details. What's there right now for you? Have a very peaceful, very beautiful rest of your day, and have a wonderful weekend. Namaste.